Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. In 1994, Garrison Keillor put out a recording called The Young Lutheran's Guide to the Orchestra. Keillor was well known for picking good-natured fun at Lutherans, and in this piece he goes through each instrument in the orchestra and highlights why it would be good for a Lutheran to choose as his own or not. For example, he cites that trumpets are far too bold and brash and prideful for a good Lutheran to play, but highlights percussion, and particularly the triangle, as perfect. To play the triangle, he explains, you might have to wait 30 minutes or more for your one chance to play, perfectly fitting the quiet, unassuming Lutheran. You really need to hear the whole thing. And yet, one of the things we might recognize from Keillor's piece is that different denominations have different characteristics. Sometimes I worry that we are too critical of different denominations, when the truth is more like we are all in one family wearing different pairs of eyeglasses. We simply see Jesus through a slightly different lens, but we are still all in God's family. We need to remember that. Nevertheless, we do have different characteristics. And when it comes to music, there are some hymns that come from a Baptist tradition that we as Lutherans have adopted with our hearts and our voices. This week and next week, we will look at some of those hymns and talk about their meanings. Today, we start with Amazing Grace. If there is a hymn that most of us know something about its backstory, Amazing Grace is it. Many of us may know the story of John Newton, who wrote the hymn, and how he went to sea at an early age and eventually became a slave trader, ferrying captured slaves from Africa to the United States. Over time, the slave trade grew distasteful to him, and he gave it up and eventually began writing hymns, several of which we sing still today. The most famous of these is Amazing Grace, and we can't help but imagine, as Newton writes of wretches being set free, that he pictures in his mind those slaves he transported. It's a powerful story. But there's a deeper story that may be even more powerful. As Newton was working on going through the Bible from beginning to end and creating hymns, he came across the odd passage of 1 Chronicles 17, verses 16 through 17, in which King David went into the presence of the Lord and said, "Who am I, O Lord God, and what is my house that you have brought me thus far? And even this was a small thing in your sight, O God. You have also spoken of your servant's house for a great while to come. You regard me as someone of high rank, O Lord God." This is the passage that inspired and lies behind Amazing Grace. Newton grasped David's astonishment at the grace of God, that even with all his faults and failings, God loved him. This is an amazing grace indeed. Perhaps we have been in that same place with David, knowing the truth about ourselves and yet still knowing and experiencing the love and grace of God. And maybe knowing the backstory might open us up to new understandings in the words of the hymn. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. Now how precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares I have already come. 'Tis grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be as long as life endures. Actually, Newton's verses end there. But we have another verse that has been added by tradition and is anonymous. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we'd first begun. No wonder we call this gift of God amazing. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.